What up, folks? It's your man, G hitting you with a brand spanking new top 10 list. That's right, today we're going to count down 10 of my favorite artists that, man, I love them on features. Give me those verses if they're fire, but man, when I listen to their albums, it really ain't that good. It's kind of lackluster. So before we go any further, I want to give you guys a chance to go ahead and like the video and subscribe and share this content with people you think might just enjoy it. So let's just hop right into it. At the top of my list, we got my man 2 Chainz. Yeah, and man, while I enjoy his guest verse on Mercy, my favorite bar from there is when he says, "I'm drunk and high at the same time, drinking champagne on the airplane." You know you love that line. I've listened to a couple of his albums. What was that? Pretty Girls Love Trap and Rapper Go to the League. And something about Rapper Go to the League felt like he was just going a little bit trying a little bit too hard to prove that he could rap. Kind of felt like some of the seriousness was forced. But that's my man 2 Chainz. I still enjoy hearing him on features here and there, but when it comes to his albums, I don't really like him that much. Well, we're gonna hop into the next one, and that's my man Kid Cudi. Everybody loves a Kid Cudi hum on a track. You know, when he starts humming on the feature, it's all fire, it's all funny games. But when I go to most of his albums, I'm not really feeling them. I did enjoy his first 2 albums, Man on the Moon 1, and I did enjoy Man on the Moon 3. But other than that, I don't really want to hear Kid Cudi that much. I don't get too hyped for the rest of his albums. Father Shake My Hand, that was fire. Beautiful Morning, you know, you love that track. But when it comes to the rest of his discography, I'm kind of like, no, no thanks. All right, man, let's hop into the next one. This is the boss, the big man. You already know what I'm talking about, probably. It's Rick Ross, man. And while I really enjoy his guest verse on Kanye West's classic album, the Devil in a New Dress song, amazing. That verse actually made me respect Rick Ross as a writer, and don't get me wrong, when I hear him rap for some reason on a guest verse, it makes me want to rap too. But for the most part, I've tried to listen to a couple of his albums. The last one I tried to listen to, I think, was Port of Miami Part 2. I barely got through it. I don't remember much from it. I gave it a try, but nothing else has been able to draw me in to check him out a little bit further. That's Rick Ross. He sounds dope on features. I enjoy his antics on social media. We love Rick Ross, but when it comes to listening to his full albums, I'm not really there. Alright, so let's hop into the next one. This dude, Holla Back Youngin, Mr. Fabulous, Fabulous, spelling his name wrong and shit. Alright, man, so I really enjoy his guest verse on Summer on Lock. I think that's a Royce the 5'9" joint. He sounds dope. I like when he says, "She's sailing out of my asshole, how when I don't give a shit." It's kind of corny. I'm not really into punchline rappers like Fabulous or Lloyd Banks, things like that, those type of rappers, but I can, you know, kind of acknowledge that, you know, it takes a certain skill set to come up with the similes and metaphors like that. But a lot of times to me, their stuff just sounds corny, or it just sounds like it's for the chicks or something. I don't really get with it. But the Freddie vs. Jason album that Fabulous did with Jadakiss a few years back is probably the most that I've enjoyed Fabulous. There were only about 2 tracks that really stuck with me. And I think that was the Ice Pick and Ground Up. Those tracks, those sounded fire. And I don't know if it was mostly because of Jadakiss, because I don't really remember what Fab was talking about. And I don't know, his voice is cool, you know, but when it comes to his albums, I'm really just not enjoying Fabulous's albums. I'd rather hear him on a feature. Holla Back Youngin. Next up, somebody get your man's Fab. Anyway, next up, continuing, we're gonna hop into the next one. And this one, I'm pretty sure a lot of people might be able to agree with me on this. And this is coming from a place of respect too, because I respect him as an MC. It's just that sometimes Big Sean, he only sounds super dope when it comes to these features or just hearing him on a guest appearance. For the most part, I'm kind of cool on the Big Sean album. He's another one that kind of sounded corny to me when I first heard him. I do respect him, like I said. I do have some favorite bars from him. I do have some songs where he makes me laugh, where I'm pretty impressed. Like, one of my favorite lines is pretty funny. It's from one of the Good Friday joints that Kanye dropped back in the day. He says, "That's the girl you gave a wedding ring. Me and my brothers netted on everything." That always made me bust up, and I thought he sounded pretty cool. He kind of sounded like he was a Kanye Jr. on that track. So I mostly enjoyed his album I Decided from 2017. I thought the Metro Boomin collaboration was straight trash, but I enjoyed the Hit Boy joint that he did a couple years ago. Actually, you could check out my review. It should be popping up around there or something. Anyway, we're gonna hop into the next one, and this is my man. He's an OG, West Coast OG. He actually comes from Philly, if you know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Corrupt. I love this dude on features, but when it comes to some of his recent stuff, I'm not really checking for it. Yeah, give me the Dog Food album, give me some Chronic album, guest verses, and Corruption was fire, right? But these are his songs, these are his albums. And when it comes to him on features, I probably just enjoy him if he comes out of nowhere, kind of like the Lil Wayne joint where he was on there on the chorus, or even on the more recent one, he was on the Schoolboy Q track that Tyler the Creator produced. And I was pretty excited to hear him come off on there. He sounded pretty dope on there. But after a few songs, you know, I kind of get tired of the G-Funk and some of the gangbanger rap. But like I said, he's a West Coast legend. This your man Corrupt. Like I said, I love him on Dog Food and the classics. Streets is a Mother is a classic. But we're gonna move right into the next one, right on our list, and that's another West Coast legend. This is my man Too Short. You know, I love him, and I'm a player, getting it. Shake that monkey, freaky tales, blow the whistle, the ghetto. Don't fight the don't fight the dun. Now these are classic songs I know from like my childhood, my older cousins and stuff. They used to play these songs, but when it comes to like now, I'd rather hear him on a guest verse or maybe like a feature, or maybe if he's part of the collective, like they have the Mount Westmore popping off. I don't mind hearing Too Short on those tracks, like the recent one where he has, you know what, I actually did a review on that too. The recent one where he says some stuff in there. His delivery kind of wears out after a while. Although he might be keeping it real and he might be talking about some player stuff, it kind of gets a little worn out after a few tracks for me. But like I said, he's a West Coast legend, Mr. Too Short. We're gonna go ahead and hop into the next one. Before we do, go ahead and like this video. Love you guys. Moving right along, we got my man, main man. This is the East Coast legend right here, Mr. Busta Rhymes, and while I do love Everything Remains Raw, his guest verse on Scenario is probably one of the most iconic verses that you're gonna hear. When it comes to the Chris Brown Look At Me Now song, you know that Busta Rhymes steals a light even if you don't know what the fuck he's talking about. One of my favorite Busta lines is actually from Remains Raw, where he says, "Word is bond, make you feel my proton, electrons, and neutrons." I probably said that wrong, but it's just the energy when he says it. I just love that part. But the thing about Busta is that after a while, if you try to listen to his album, some of it might just feel like it's a bit of a gimmick, kind of gimmicky, a little bit too much of the fast rap or a little bit too much animated. And I get it, that's his style, and that's how he does his art, but sometimes it can be a little bit too much over the course of a full album. Love Busta, I love to hear him drop a guest verse, or even to have him featuring somebody else on the track. Like most recently, I love the joint that he did with Kendrick. I think it was on his last album back in 2020 or 2021, something like that. You guys should check that one out. That one's pretty fire. Anyway, we're gonna move right along. We're wrapping it up with this list. We're getting towards the end. And this dude right here is a Midwest legend, I would say. This dude right here, you hear him pop up on the verse, pop up on the guest appearance, and it's like, uh-oh, it kind of turns up the energy a little bit. But when it comes to his albums, I really haven't listened to anything, or I really haven't been inclined to want to listen to anything since maybe 2005 when Mr. Twista dropped his album. And when it comes to some of my favorite songs, we could throw in Lavish, we could throw in Slow Jams, Girl Tonight with Trey Songz. We don't really support Trey Songz over here, but I like that song, I can't lie. One of my favorite verses is actually coming from the Bone Thugs collaboration that they did in 2007 on the Strength and Loyalty Swiss Beats album. They got Bone Thugs and Twista with the collab on this joint. It's called C-Town. Now that could stand for Chicago for Twista, or that could stand for Cleveland for Bone Thugs, which is pretty dope. I like how they did that play on there. And the last time I really just messed with him was that 2005 album, The Day After. I really love that song that he had with Mariah Carey. But that's where I kind of turned the knobs down on this Speed Not Mobster. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and hop into my last one. This one is another Midwest king, another iconic MC. One of my favorites, one of my most inspirational. Probably one of your favorites, I don't know. He's kind of polarizing. You can probably guess where I'm going with this one. The Great White Hype, Mr. Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall, Nathaniel Mathers. And while I love his first 3 albums, I'm not mad at Music to Be Murdered By. Even Kamikaze had a few hits on there, but the most recent guest verses are really what gets me hyped when I hear Eminem. I'm not really checking for the albums that much. I might listen to them out of respect and out of curiosity. Like I said, I wasn't mad at the last 2 albums, but at the same time, I'm not going back to them either. The albums don't really stay in rotation. So yeah, that's where we're at with this. This has been a top 10 list, and I appreciate you guys sticking around and counting down with me. We had a few legends in there. Go ahead and list some of your favorites. Tell me some of the songs or the guest verses that are super iconic to you, the ones that you love, or even tell me some of the ones that you hate. That would be funny too. Like I said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been your man Angie on Double G, us the folks. Be sure to check me out. In some future videos, I'm gonna be dropping more. Keep it consistent. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at @STheFolksMusic and keep it locked. I got some new music coming. Got some features coming from me and some other people all across the U.S. Anyway, before I bore you with that, thank you for tuning in. It's your man Angie on Double G, us the folks, and we out of here. Peace.